It's the ubiquitous Seattle winter morning. Camera pans down towards the Tacoma Harbor docks, through a skylight in a warehouse, and through the open doors of a shipping container. Inside of the container is brightly lit, and several metahumans are standing around a table. They are dressed similarly in urban pattern armor. The walls are festooned with a dizzying array of weaponry, and the table is littered with documents, maps, and images. One of the humans is pointing at a roughly drawn map overlaid onto an aerial image of a rundown apartment building.
All
The
right.
target's been in the city for a couple of days now, as far as we can tell. This is our moment, lads. There's a couple of people protecting her, though. As far as we can tell, the only real opposition could be this cat slitch. He stabs his finger at the image of a woman in a mask and armored duster. What can be seen of the woman's features outside of the breather are feline, most pronouncedly her ears. Sleepy's matrix search is telling us she's an ex-merc. We have to take her out first. Then we can restrain the target. No damage to the target. And I'm thinking, if we can take this cat chica alive, she may be worth summit too. All right, guys. Don't take any chances, though. Got that, chummers? The other figures nod in assent. Right then, the leader says. Let's move. That's our opening scene.
Oh no.
Yeah. So it's a Saturday morning in beautiful city of Seattle in a winter. Diendre, what are you up to this morning, or are you just sleeping?
um, I think Diendre, she's been out multiple days in a row, and this last night was her crash. So she slept, she like fell asleep as soon as she got in the house. She's been sleeping on the floor basically in her apartment. Um, her like silver dusted bluish hair, like all splayed out around her, and she just looks like a mess. She wakes up to a ping on uh, her uh, comlink about some news or whatever, and she just kind of puts it down and gets up to start her day.
All right. So as you're getting up and starting your day out, um, is the static on?
I don't know. Let's check. Yeah,
Okay, good. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened. I heard it too.
it like started up. It was
And you can tell it's that fixture that you've met a couple of times since you've been in Seattle. That the Indian guy called Brown Dog.
I think, as always, when it's too early in the morning, Diender responds without thinking about it, fully in Spirithill, and then just waits for a response.
All right. So you respond in Sparethiel, and um, you hear his nervous sort of whispered voice on the other end going, Dinder, frag it. Hey, what have you been doing? Obviously, you've been doing something right. You're getting some attention from the big dogs.
I was sleeping up until this moment, but I won't be down again for another who knows how long. Uh, I think like there's the like audible sound uh like coming over. She's not typing, she's like speaking to her comm link at this point, and there's like audible coffee make or soy calf making sounds over it. What do you need? You never contact me unless you need something.
Well, yeah. So I got contacted by this fixer. Well, actually, by his people. Chip Truth D. I ain't never even come close to this kind of big time D. And they was asking about you.
Well, do they know how much I charge?
Well, yeah, I mean, I sort of let them know, you weren't cheap or nothing. Yeah, I talked you up. I did. I talked you up. So this guy's name is it's Prokop Skillful. I don't know if you ever heard of this guy.
Broke up, skillful.
He runs a real tight
Sounds like
pack.
a norm if I've ever heard one.
Oh yeah, well, uh, I don't know a whole lot about
No
him.
offense, brown dog.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. This is different, D. Um, he just calls you D since he doesn't know how to pronounce your name.
Yeah,
This
I
this is
think
different, D.
I think Diendre has put up with it so much that she just done and doesn't bother correcting him anymore.
Yeah, otherwise he's calling you stuff like Dinder and Diendre, and so D's probably a
Yes,
lot
sorry.
more, a lot better to your ears than any of the other stuff that he comes up with. So this guy, he he's got an interesting rep. D. Um, like I was
Is it what
saying,
work?
no. He doesn't do that kind of stuff. This is this is real old school. Nothing flashy. Um, he's got a real solid rep. These guys are deep in the shadows. Have been since probably since since the 50s at least.
The
Anyways,
50s.
yeah, he's like old school Seattle shadows.
Maybe they remember my father.
I I honestly I've never met the guy, and this is the first time I've ever even heard from him. So um, that's why I was talking you up. Trust me, D.
Well, you heard from him. So, where's the meeting place?
Oh right, oh right. So anyways, he's putting together a new crew, and he asked if you were interested.
I'm always interested if they're paying in the right information.
You are? Okay, whiz. Don't pass this one up, D. This is big time. Okay, so you're meeting the rest of the crew tonight at Fred's Neighborhood Convenience Store in Auburn, and you get a pin dropped onto your comm.
Oh, not Fred. Sorry.
Fred, I was
Yeah,
just there
you know it?
yesterday. Yeah, I buy
Oh,
stick
good.
half there sometimes.
Okay, good. So you know where it's at.
It's the worst truck on the in Auburn, but it's cheap.
Don't you do my man Fred like that. Everybody loves Fred.
So,
Okay, so well, they
time and
got a
place.
contact. You're going to
Anything
meet
else
him
I
there
should
at
know?
6. They've got a contact on the team who will take you to meet Mr. Skillful. So don't don't hose this one up, D. Right? Play it straight. These people are as deep in the shadows as it gets, and still no one knows nothing about them. Right?
Yeah. Well, maybe
So
they know stuff about other people. So, uh,
be
I
honest, they
guess you
make
can
my
tell him
skin
I'm
crawl.
in. I'll be there.
That's whiz. That's real whiz, D. So you know when you make the big time, don't forget your Ome brown dog who got you your start here in the Plex. Right?
Don't worry about it, brown dog.
Chill, whiz. Be seeing you, D.
I respond in Sprathiel with the a similar, uh,
Have you
like,
met Cecile?
bye-bye,
How
but in
often would you
Sprathiel,
call
and
her?
I just, like, hang up on him.
All right. Meantime, Ollie, your comm is chiming too. Um, this time it's the ringtone you recognize as being from that girl Kirsten. Um, she's dropped you a pin, and it's Fred's store, and the quick text that says to meet her there at 6 p.m. and that there's a +1 joining the team at the Mr. Johnson's request.
Cecile
And who's
is
this from again?
currently distracted
Kirsten,
and her eyes are closed.
Kirsten. All right.
The
Kirsten,
Yeah.
who is
response,
Cecile's contact, but seems to contact you a whole lot more than she does Cecile.
Yeah.
not even a twitch.
Yeah.
No
Mm,
response.
more often than you'd think. Anyhow, all right. Boxer's forwarding this to um Nightingale, and after eyeing Cecile down,
Depends on whether or not you have
she
AR goggles.
actually physically goes to approach
Then
her.
yes.
And I apologize if you can hear anything in the background. Cecile,
Instantly awake. What do you
Cecile,
need? You?
he gently pokes her on the shoulder. How do you right? She pulls out her comm link and would you be able to get someone's contact information by looking at them? She has cyber eyes. Well, in that case, she's getting Cecile's number and texting her because by now she's figured out, oh yes, so she's in VR. Wake up,
A
need to
job,
talk to you
huh?
about something.
What are you gonna shoot someone?
Boxer. And what I need is to
Well, you know,
inform you
at
that
this
you will
point
be
I'm
coming
not
with
sure.
us.
Sure. Whatever your name
Frankly,
is.
I don't
Who?
trust
Why?
for your safety
Just
alone here. I know it's relatively safe. However, I dislike the notion
well,
of
if you're that confident in
leaving
your safe
a job
house, I guess I
behind.
will go with you.
So, I, myself, and my compatriot have a job offered by your friend. And I need you to come along unobtrusively.
Sure, whatever.
You can stay outside or whatever. Oh, possibly. Would you like someone to be you?
So, before I leave, where are we going and who are you meeting?
Because I don't want you to get shot. I
Right,
realized
some
the
shadowy
irony.
figure that's gonna pay you for crimes, right?
I am confident in my safe house's ability to not be found.
How
I am not
lovely.
confident in its ability to stand against whatever evil decides to send against you.
Speaking of Paul,
What did she forward
last
to me?
time I'm pretty sure you said that
The place
rumors
took
about
me
Cecile were floating around MagicNet.
Reds. Oh god.
Okay,
Is there any other
just
info?
checking.
It was about the job. She'd know that.
Ah, okay.
I'm pretty sure Grace is
Mhm.
in the safe house too.
Yeah. She has a pillow for it.
Convenience store, pizza, about the job, and a +1. It is not really relevant to you.
Cecile
Yes,
responds back, I
get
already
used to
did.
it.
What kind of amateur do you think I am?
Oh, I know. You're going to be doing the same thing, because I rather doubt you'll be able to get legitimate employment with your newfound
She
record.
goes ahead and pulls up another window to check KSAF.
Mm-hmm. And about this point, Cecile, your comm pings from an unknown number, and it's a text. And the text simply says, C, as in the letter, it's K girl. Change your access ID, you stubborn slag, or at least go silent. And it's followed up with an angry dragon emoji. Then the second text comes in. Check KSAF. Zach Flash has something on you. You get a text back. I know you. You probably just did it. All right, so you're just in time to catch Zach Flash putting out an intro to another
Cecile
song.
immediately cuts it
He's
short
giving
before
a
it
little
starts.
update. And morning, chummers.
Cecile
This
texts
is Zach
Kirsten,
Flash
glad to
with
know I've made the
KSAF,
news.
your last bastion of free and independent news in Seattle. Stick with us, chummers, as we bring you the breaking news of an attempted terrorist kidnapping in the very heart of our beloved Metroplex.
Oh,
You
God.
heard that right, Ome. Right here in downtown Seattle, Shadowrunners, or terrorists, depending on your view of the sixth world, attempted to kidnap a highly qualified research assistant
Well
employed
then,
by one of your
Miss
favorite corporate
Boxer,
overlords,
how
Evo,
long
at
until
their
the
Washington
Yes.
U research
escort
facility.
mission, huh?
We are saddened to report that this promising young woman's career was cut short in a blaze of terrorist gunfire. More details at the top of the
Well,
hour.
yeah, you will be
Signing
escorting
off.
me, right?
This is Zach
That's what
Flash
you were
with
implying?
KSAF, bringing you my favorite rock opera, Mother of the Sea by Shieldwall. Yeah, you get back a frowny emojis. You get back a bunch of emojis actually from Kirsten. She sometimes texts only in emojis.
Mhm. 5 hours to go. How long of a drive?
All right, Grace, go ahead.
Escort mission.
Repeat that number to me?
After a fashion, yes. And it is, when is it?
It's about 1 p.m. at this point.
And how long until?
And the meet or
Oh,
the meeting point at Fred's is 6 p.m.
I wasn't expecting to hear a reference to rock opera tonight.
If I remember right, your
It's a very
safe house was
dated
in
genre.
Puyallup, and so you've probably got a 45-minute drive
Yeah,
to
so do bagpipes.
back to Auburn.
yeah. Sorry.
You've got about a 45-minute hour or 45-minute hour drive, 45-minute drive to Auburn.
Oh God, it's gonna be like 10 hours long.
What was the song called?
The song was, what was the song? The song was "Mother of the Sea" by Shieldwall.
Thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and can I see what happened to Cecile's professor?
Rock operas
Okay,
still
can I go ahead and
exist.
do a search for that? Are you gonna make me data search to find that out?
Oh yeah. What's
Are
wrong with
you
that?
implying that one is bad and the other
I
is
assume
also
it's hit
bad?
news as well.
Gonna say, what's going on here?
To the band Shield Wall, I leave 100 million, 10 million nuyen for the completion of their
Yeah.
rock opera, Mother of the Sea.
Yeah, Big D.
Well, which professor? Because there was one.
Big D left them 100 million.
That sounds so stupid.
The
Fucking Big D.
one of her
Okay,
professors.
I know this
Okay,
is
yeah.
interesting, but I really have to use the
Oh
restroom.
God, where
So
did I
I'm gonna
leave
go.
that paper?
All right.
I'll be right back.
We'll be here. I'm talking about Big D.
Kazumi was her first name. I sent that to you, right? I'm sure I did.
Yes.
Not context, but she's part of her backstory.
No.
Yes, I didn't. Hmm. Odd.
Well, it's not
I'll have to check about
big
that.
news. It's really just coming up on
Anyway, that was just
Washington State
thought I was going to take
University's
care of while
website that
Cat was gone.
he's retired. Was it the professor
He
or
was the one,
the lab
like, basically
assistant,
that
or
gave
not lab
Cecile the
assistant, but the lab
internship
manager?
and stuff. You know, a bit like a mentor, but not quite that close, you know?
Is she on your contact sheet?
Yes. Hmm. Could have sworn I said that to you. Okay. Yeah, basically the one that
right.
was
So
like
is this a professor that one of your
had a
professors that
semi-close
at the
relationship
university then?
with Cecile, gave her an internship doing the stuff.
Okay. And what was her name? Mhm.
Close enough that there would be like reputational effects on her if something happened to Cecile. Yeah, rumor, that kind of thing. Like employment status update.
And that's who you're looking for?
Mm-hmm. Demise? Hold on. Excuse me? Cecile immediately searches for her own death.
Okay. And what are you? Yeah. So what are you specifically looking for? Just anything social media wise, or?
If Boxer is still looking at Cecile's face, it
No
is one of
changes to
shock and
employment. You
horror.
don't really see anything. Does look like she did put out a statement regarding your demise. You know, promising demise. Yes. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's
Okay.
starting to click what old Zach Flash was
Cecile
talking
shouts
about
for Boxer.
when your career being cut short in a blaze of gunfire.
Okay. Can Cecile go ahead and check
Yep,
her
you're apparently
citizenship
dead.
status at the UCAS?
You were apparently killed in
What
an
is her
attempted
sin?
kidnapping, and people are attributing it to Shadowrunners or terrorists.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Cecile goes ahead and sits down on the bed.
Yeah, you also see as you're looking at this that there's a relatively accurate description of Boxer um, attributing most of the mayhem that occurred to her.
But it's like when you send the IRS a letter saying that somebody died.
Sorry, I need a moment.
Yep, it is showing that you are deceased. Yes. So it's you know, it's not been
Of course, as it
deactivated. I don't
always
think
is.
deactivated is the right thing for
I'm sure it'll play over
the
the
sin. Yet, it's
university
still
PA, like, let's have a
attributed to
moment of
you, but
silence.
exactly. And as you're starting to dig into this a little bit deeper, you're finding reference to this all across social
One moment,
media,
I have to take care of
anywhere where
something.
you might have been active. There's all sorts of articles out of Washington State University and from Evo and from the lab, people remembering you fondly, glowing remembrances of you, people that you barely said two words to are giving interviews telling about how you were their best friend and they knew you were destined for greatness and what a tragedy it is. Yep, absolutely. Something like that's already scheduled, and there's probably a rally scheduled, against for more security. Okay. Poor Cecile. Rumors of her demise.
Rumors of my
Rumors of my
death
death
were
have been
greatly
greatly
exaggerated.
exaggerated.
I live, bitch.
Grace, you're in your pillow fort. You hear the other two talking for a minute. You got the ping from Boxer stating that the meet with the Mr. Johnson would be at 6 p.m. Well, no, not the meet with Mr. Johnson, but that you were going to be meeting Kirsten, the girl that you had met briefly at Fred's place in Auburn.
Okay, what Kirsten is? She's the one that's giving us the job.
She's not the one who's giving you the job, but she's the one who contacted you, basically saying that she knew somebody who had a job, was trying to put together a new team.
Okay, that sounds good to me. I suppose Nightingale would go and start get her stuff ready.
Yeah, as I remember it, Kirsten was basically, um, Boxer was a little bit irritated because Kirsten didn't have any money and wasn't going to be paying for the rescue of Cecile. And Kirsten was going to try to make it up to you guys by putting you in touch with a legitimate fixer who could get you paying work.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. While the other two talk, Nightingale's gonna sneak into the kitchen, find something sugary, and shove it in her mouth.
All right, we can do. So
He might need to eat a spoonful of sugar.
there is in the, I believe in the core rulebook. Or was that in 5e?
During this short bit of downtime we have, while everyone's like off doing other stuff, I want to say that I've been thinking about it. And I probably should have brought this up sooner, but I'm thinking I want Nightingale to actually be dual-natured, and then always astrally perceiving her body is at once present on the astral plane and the physical plane at the same time. She can still astrally project and stuff.
Yeah,
Uh,
cool.
yeah.
I'd always sort of thought that she would be dual natured, so that's not really
Yeah, and it also means I'm constantly sensing.
Yeah, that's sort of how I pictured her anyways.
Mhm.
So yeah, as you go into the kitchen and you open up the refrigerator and there's a DY energy drink, or you have the choice of a Buzz Cola or an Afghan Nuke.
What's an Afghan Nuke?
Well, I don't know, but it costs 3
Also,
nuyen.
hello, I'm back.
It sounds interesting and foreign. I must have.
Does Grace drink alcohol?
She doesn't. But I don't think it actually would have an effect on her.
Yeah, so when you pop the can open or whatever, however the stuff is stored, a strong aroma comes out of it, and you realize it's that chemical composition that humans often imbibe, that they get some kind of intoxicating effect from. And you smell some other various herbs and spices that you can't quite identify, all wrapped up in the tantalizing scent of sugary sweetness.
She tastes it. She gives it a little slurp.
And this
It's
is from
quite
Boxer's
syrupy.
fridge.
It's from Boxer's fridge. It's quite syrupy and laden with spices, almost chai-like, if she's ever had chai or something like that.
That's a kind of tea, right?
Hmm.
Maybe she has. I imagine she actually. Yeah, that makes sense. Yes.
Yeah, so it's not bad, and that chemical compound that the humans tend to favor so much, obviously is of no import to you. So you're getting your sugary fizzy bubble A fix.
Fizzy bubble, eh? That's uh that's exactly what she does. She drinks it
Hey,
and she
Boxer,
closes the fridge. She goes back to her
Meanwhile,
pillow for it.
you're on the news.
meanwhile, in the living room, Cecile is looking like she's seen a ghost,
No.
and she's sitting on the sofa. And Boxer, make a perception check.
S- Wait, motorcycle helmet or gas mask? I can think of a few reasons why.
One.
Yeah, the college girl doesn't look all that great. She's seems to be struggling with something. She's sitting there, obviously, focused on her AR or VR, completely ignoring you. No, she's not. She actually called you over.
What? Great. Is my name on the news? It's only a matter of time.
Yep. Are you showing her, or are you looking, Boxer?
She was wearing a motorcycle helmet during that, by the way. Because she was on a motorcycle.
Why not both? Yeah. So, Boxer, you see the story of Cecile's supposed demise at the hands of nefarious terrorists or shadow runners, and a fairly accurate description of yourself and your motorcycle in being highlighted as the main suspect and or perpetrator of these nefarious deeds.
Oh, great. And I didn't even get paid for this one.
That's what you're worried about? That's what you got out of that? That makes sense.
Alright. This is wonderful. The van, Nightingale.
No, no
Nightingale.
Nightingale, no van.
Nightingale has been sitting for some time now. peeking out of her pillow for it, occasionally sipping from the bottle that Boxer immediately recognizes to be alcohol.
Her bottle of Afghan Nuke.
The horse looks concerned at both of them, and her ears kind of swivel back and forth between them. Um, she can tell that they're not feeling good. Neither of them are feeling good right now.
This somewhat changes the situation. God.
Yeah, so the terrorists are described as two humans on a motorcycle who chased down the promising young research assistant who was on her way to a life-changing interview, and attempted to kidnap her, killing her in the process. And they give a good description of Boxer, and they sort of miss the mark on Kirsten to some extent, just describing her as a human female.
If they're calling Boxer a human, don't they not know who she is, actually?
I'll have you know I am a human, but
Racist.
yes, it would be missing the mark. Unfortunately, or fortunately for her,
That
I
was
am
that was
the
out of
only
character, by
one.
the way.
Hmm?
That was out of character, the question I posed.
Oh. Now that there you are identifying two separate people.
Diendre, what are you up to while you're before the this meeting's supposed to take place?
I think Diendre has actually gone to eat something.
And is she ordering a soy calf with that meal?
Actually, not with this one. She's gone to like whatever the like hole in the wall elf place is in Auburn.
Okay.
Like it's a restaurant run by elves. They probably know her because she was around here back when, like back in the before she went off to fight in the war. Um, but she's having like whatever the closest thing to a traditional elvish meal is.
Yeah,
I doubt it's very traditional, but it's what she usually eats.
there's a you're catching glimpses on the trio of a some kind of outrage that happened in downtown Seattle. Looks like drone footage, aerial footage of a vehicle chase, motorcycle chasing down a limousine and stopping it in the streets of downtown Seattle, and a gunfight, and then the motorcycle speeds off, and the commentators there's a lot of hand wringing about security downtown, and clearing out the riffraff and stuff like that.
Think she starts interested in it, but then if she ever reads anything about them, like their metatype, she probably just kind of mindlessly pays attention to it.
Yeah, it doesn't appear that there are really any elves involved. It's seems to be human on human violence. So
Human on human on cat.
The norms are always squabbling.
yeah,
Yeah,
actually,
racism.
Dinder, make a perception check as well.
Okay. Let's see. Perception. No modifiers.
No modifiers.
3.
Oh, nice. Yeah, the only thing that sort of, as you start to tune out this normie on normie problem going on downtown that doesn't really have anything to do with you, you catch a couple of details that the commentators are missing, but you can just see barely on the periphery of the camera's field of view. You don't think that there was just a motorcycle involved. There was something else. Looked like there was a van following as well. And do you believe you see an object actually leave the limousine for the van? But it's not really highlighted in the aerial view. So you get the impression that this newscast that you're watching is to some extent BS.
I think it's like her brain flagging the newscast as even more BS than it was before.
Yeah.
Like, I
You
don't
maybe
think
even
anyone.
get a little grin as you recognize that, yeah, there were shadow runners at work here, and it wasn't a terrorist act. This was some kind of shadow op.
Um,
Well,
'Cause,
you know what?
like,
Let's roll for
Diende's
it.
been around for a long time, so she knows to recognize corporate propaganda when she sees it.
Oh yeah. Yep, there's definitely some
Mm,
shenanigans going
He's
on
probably written something
downtown
with elves, but
with the
like
normies.
not elf-centric, if that makes sense. It's not like she'd be on her list of like
I don't
best
think
elf
she
fiction.
really, like, she's at that point, she just stops paying attention to it entirely and, like, changes to something else.
All right,
Let's say if
She's
these are
probably
all
old enough where she starts
sixes, it's
reading, like, a
Cecile.
novel on her,
I'm gonna roll
on her
3d6.
comlink.
No. It was
Like,
close.
she pulls up, like, a mystery novel on her comlink and then starts reading it.
Cecile, what's your pen name?
That's right under a pen name. At least not for the mystery
Wait.
fiction.
Has Cecile ever written anything about elves?
If it's a mystery novel,
No, that's my dog. Sorry.
I think Diende's burned through so much of the actual elf fiction, she's just reading things with, like, elves in it at this point. Like,
It's pretty detailed, all things considered, but it's written in a kind of pretentious
It was worth a
way.
try.
Like, you know how you
It
read a
would have
book and
been
instead of like
glorious.
being
I
written
am
for
going
a
to say
casual
that it's
audience, like it
Cecile,
has that almost
just because I think
intentionally
it's
heightened
funny.
vocabulary for no real reason.
huh? What is Cecile's pen name then? Oh, somebody
It's
have
just
is
Cecile.
somebody hiccuping, or does somebody have a chihuahua?
It is very
Okay.
precise about the methods involved.
So, like, I think Diende's just, like, skimming it at this point. Like, she's not really reading it. She's just skimming through, looking for the clues in the mystery novel, and then just, like, assuming and then skipping to the end.
Yes.
I think that's probably part of what caught Diender's eye about the novel, is just that she can relate to the sort of procedural mystery type stuff, having come from that background. So Diendre, you're skimming through this, looking at, reading all the procedural type stuff and thinking to yourself, huh, yeah, that's actually sort of pretty close.
Hmm.
So anyways, if Diender's reading a book, what's happening in the house here now that Boxer's realized that she's really gotten herself embroiled into something?
Presently, presently, she would be. Her first impulse would be to go back to her apartment and get a whole bunch of very fancy toys pulled out But once she calms down, she's been running for enough time to have plans. So what she's gonna do is she's going to do you think you could get your account, the money on your account shifted onto a cred stick, like, mobily? Like,
Yeah,
withdraw onto cred stick?
sure. I can see that working.
She has a cred stick, right? Da-da-da, just a moment. My god,
I
the
think you
skills
can
list
get
is
it.
so long, it lags my computer.
I think you can get it transferred to your. You might be able to use your comm for that too these days.
So it has, like, an internal
I think your comm link does sort of act as like a credit card almost, but that's not
mm,
probably the same thing. You probably want it transferred onto a cred stick.
You've got
alright.
Evo Pay on your comlink.
Yeah, different. She wants to get her money out of her account before it freezes. So what she's doing is she's getting her cred stick and she's putting all 350 yuan she has in her account onto that for starter of business. I change that.
Grace, you're definitely picking up on the heightened sense of anxiety and tension from the other two.
Yeah, give me a second.
Any way to add it? Uh, guess I'll just make it as a second column. I can delete the first. Can I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. Cool. So I need to get silver cred stick. Silver cred stick. I'm just gonna write that down and do it later. I want to hold things up.
You also are at this time receiving a call from Vicente.
She'd accept that quite promptly.
Boxer, what the hell is going on? What the frag have you done?
I see you've seen the news.
I didn't just see the news. We've got a bulletin, all points bulletin here at the station. Doesn't have your name on it, but it wasn't too hard for me to put two and two together.
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't
I would
realize you
assume I
read.
am the only criminal cat that you'd know.
Says, don't joke, Boxer. This isn't funny.
Indeed. Despite what the media is saying about my terroristic inclinations, that was in fact a rescue of an individual whom Evo was attempting to kill themselves. Yes, relax. We are here to keep this from happening. You shouldn't be. She is right here. Say hi. Don't actually. We have more important business. What I need you to do is to make sure that you have no connections to me. And
Wait, who's there? That girl's there? I thought she was dead.
yes, our unfortunately deceased friend is alive and well. Rumors of her death were greatly exaggerated.
Now that's a relief. Yeah. Well, like I said, they don't have you ID'd yet, so
It won't be long. How many cat people do you think are Seattle? Actually,
there's a few, but I would say keep a low profile for the moment and maybe stash your bike somewhere.
yeah. Seems I'll be going about in great.
I'll do what I can to take the heat off here at the station.
Don't put yourself at risk.
Well,
any more than you have to. Look,
The neighborhood looks out for its own. You know that.
you have a family to think about. I'm just me. I can disappear. Besides, I'm already in my safe house, and I'm working on, well, everything else. I'll be heading up to my place to withdraw everything relevant. I don't want someone going on in
I can go
finding
send
my.
somebody over there.
All right.
Yeah, just shoot me over a list of the stuff you need. At the moment, what I would do is I would just run a new sin or a different sin. If you've got a sin that'll hold up, I would just run a different sin for a while. That
I have
should be
something
enough.
that'll hold up well enough. Now, as you might imagine, I am not inclined to waste these. I apologize. I'm sure you will be quite busy. Thank you for the warning. If you ever need a favor, well, you've certainly earned one now.
No sweat, boxer. Like I said, the neighborhood protects its own.
Indeed. Send that. I'll send that list shortly. Make sure there's someone trustworthy.
Oh, of course.
I love my toys. Thank you. I've got some things I'll have to do now.
He signs off.
Girl, I sincerely hope you are worth it, because I was quite fond of my present existence, and I would rather not see it disappear in smoke for nothing.
Can one of you explain to me exactly what's going on?
I have been made. Fortunately, you have not had the same unfortunate occurrence. Indeed, even your vehicle has not been identified. Guess the media still has it out for changelings.
No, that doesn't make any sense. It
I've
would have been
been
painfully
made.
obvious. If the media's not no, if the media's not covering that, it means that someone doesn't want them to be broadcasting the fact that I was involved. And that means they know something more than I want them to know.
Smart girl.
What are we doing? I don't imagine we're gonna go for a job or something now. What?
Indeed. Oh, I. What I am doing is I'm securing my assets. I have
We still need
a
to meet with
plan
that
in place.
criminal you need to see, right?
It's. This safe house was not bought under my name. It was bought under the name of one Tara Sinclair. This fortunate person, well, they're not with us anymore. They haven't been for a long time. I
I know what
inherited
I'm
their name.
doing.
We will be about as safe as we can hope to be here, given
I'm
the
going to
state of
contact
security
somebody
in
from the
this
underground press. Clearly.
district. No cameras. They're pretty much dark once we go in here, which means you two may well be safer here for a while than anywhere
Perfect.
else.
Who's
As for
this
me,
fixer person you're meeting?
I am going to keep things on the down low.
I'll ask Kirsten.
I
Cecile
may have to
immediately
cancel on that one.
sends Kirsten a message. Who's
Unless
this
they
criminal you're having
can.
Boxer meet?
I should probably get out of town.
Obviously.
Yeah. You shouldn't be associated with me. I understand.
What's that? What are you doing?
Oh, really? And what's that going to do? You know what? I don't care to know. I have things to do.
Important how?
You would be better off asking Kirsten that question.
Hmm.
I'll take it you send it to the unregistered comlink ID
Well
that
then,
sent you the text earlier.
I am immediately going to try to search for
Obviously.
any like identifying
She
information about
texts you
that
right
name
back. She
because
says,
Cecile is absolutely
fixer
convinced that's not a real
that
name.
a fixer that I know who's got some work for you guys, and I think is going to be a really important connection for you to get out of the situation that you're in.
Hmm. Let's roll and see.
He is
If it doesn't
very
turn up
deeply
anything, it won't
connected
matter.
to the shadows in Seattle.
So data
He
search
knows
4,
everything and
and her
everybody.
browse is also 4, but her system is 3, so it's 7. So
His
it's
name is
7. I'm gonna
Prokop
spend a
Skillful.
good 5 minutes not
She texts,
responding to Kirsten. Yeah.
how deep are you going to search?
I don't know. I don't know if Cecile has heard of Jack
Like we've
Point.
already established that you can search the entire matrix in a
Also,
couple of
you
minutes,
have
but how
to.
much time are you going to spend
Yeah, you have to be
deciphering the
invited to
data
Jack
that you
Point, and
get?
Cecile doesn't really hang around that crowd. So even if she was invited, she'd be like, no thanks. I don't really want to associate with criminals." But she's definitely checking the Nexus. Possibly is Helios one? Can't remember. But I'm throwing out 35 die. 7 hits.
Yeah, so you're searching, and you're searching not just in public databases, you're searching in some of the other databases that you've heard of, right? Like MagicNet and um, Jackpoint and some of the other ones.
He has access to
Mhm.
Jackpoint.
No?
Isn't Jackpoint like super hard to get access to? I don't want to consult with that crowd.
Okay. Cecile definitely will.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot that comes back. Very obviously, this name or the person associated with it has enough juice that they've been able to scrub their identity pretty thoroughly from the matrix. You do come across some very old archival data about an incident in the 50s that a person by the name of Prokop Skillful may have been involved in. And if if you want to do some research on that later, I would just take a note of that. But then they disappeared for about 10 years and resurfaced in the 60s, and developed very quickly a reputation as a very straight and narrow fixer, who has extensive shadow contacts, and there are a lot of rumors about them being associated with this or that job or these or that operations or whatever. But mostly the reputation is that they are somewhat of a mystery, and that they have a reputation for dealing only in operations that are quote unquote
Okay.
take more of a
Cecile
moral high ground
stopped
than,
searching after
aren't
reading all
just
of that for 5 minutes in response to Kirsten with,
aren't just either
well, Boxer might
financial
not show,
in
but
nature
I'm going
or
to show up.
completely
And
avoids anything
Cecile's already
that's
heading out
outright
the
harmful
door.
to people.
See this fixer.
But there's also, you don't get a whole, like I say, you don't get a whole lot of information. There's no
Cecile gives you a
real
look
images of the
like you're
person, but
actually
there's
stupid.
also a lot of the stuff that's said or written gives you a sense that there's a lot more to the story that isn't being told.
Kirsten's telling me that you have to
Like there are a
come
lot of people
anyway.
when
I don't care if you do.
people do
But
refer to this
I
name
need
in
to
the
figure out
shadows,
what's
it's
going on,
often
and
more of a
hopefully
question mark
I can
than
make
solid
somebody else
information.
very unhappy while doing so.
Where are you going? Why?
Yeah, you get a text back from Kirsten saying that the deal is that he wants to see the entire team.
Nightingale promptly calls Kirsten. Like directly calls her voice.
All
No
right,
video.
no video. You get an answer back. Actually, you're using the old comm link that you had gotten previously.
Yeah, that I've had for a while now.
So you're getting a number. You're using the number that Kirsten had given Boxer before that she's actually not using anymore.
No, that the one that I had been forwarded the message from.
Okay. Yep. All right. So yep, she answers you back. Who's this?
Hi, this is
Oh, right, Grace. Grace, yes.
yeah, this is Grace. Hi. Uh, is everything all right?
Depends on how you define all right. Sounds like Cecile is acting like Cecile again, and to be honest, things have gotten a little bit crazy out here, and I'm trying to lay low myself. But apparently, they've put out the word that Cecile is dead. That Boxer, they've got a description of Boxer on the nightly news saying that she's wanted in suspicion of having killed Cecile. And now Cecile's telling me that Boxer's not going to show up to the meet with our fixer. So everything's going to frag and frag and frag.
Do you understand how that doesn't really make sense? We're supposed to go and meet with a fixer right after two of us have been explicitly marked out by the media in a public place, and we all have to come.
You're going to need to take some precautions, obviously.
Yeah. Hmm.
This is the thing, Grace. It's not so much. If you don't go, that's fine. It's just one of the main reasons I wanted to put you guys in touch with this guy is that I think he can help you get out of the situation you're in.
Okay. Okay, I understand. Um. All right.
He's a
I
contact that I don't use a lot.
I just want to
but
clarify. So was this
well,
playing like on speakerphone?
he can be quite helpful in
Okay.
exchange for your talents that you've got. So he's well connected, so he may be able to help you guys out.
Okay. I was getting a little freaked out, as I'm sure you could tell. It wasn't really adding up in my head, but
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. Just think of it as think of him as a resource or a tool that you can use to your benefit in this situation.
yeah. Okay.
Mm,
Cool.
No.
Thank you. That's all. I guess I'll see you soon.
Okay,
I don't
sounds
think
good. Make sure
so.
that Boxer comes.
I'll see what I can
I,
do. And then she hangs up.
I'm pretty sure a physical mask is more about changing the
No, she had it
face.
held up to like her face, held
So
upside down
subject
so
in
that the
that is
speaker was
like,
closer to her ear.
a person.
Um,
Let me
Or
I
s-
think
I was gonna say,
she's. Go ahead.
nothing. Go on.
She's
Nothing.
gonna get up at that point. Question for you as the GM and also just everyone else. Is there a particular definition of what a subject is? Does a subject in terms of spellcasting have to be a living thing? Okay, could I
Mm,
hypothetically cast physical mask on
Yeah, no,
the
physical
van?
mask is for people.
Invisibility van. Sorry.
I'm
That
not
would
gonna make it
be
invisible. That would be dangerous.
See, that's a lot better than what Cecile's going to do if no one's going to drive her.
I'll
Oh. Oh, you think Cecile
I can
walks?
read you what the rules say. What I'm thinking
No.
is that I want to change the
Yes,
license
finally
plates and
somebody's on
all
the
of that
same
stuff,
wavelength.
the identifying stuff, so that whenever we get back into the better parts of Seattle, uh my van is not being marked as traveling here and there, if that makes sense. Okay. Well, then I don't really know what to do there.
call a grid guide.
See, that's dangerous.
She's gonna
Uh,
walk.
She's gonna steal something.
He's going to fly.
Oh, geez.
My God, don't let that woman Mary Poppins away.
Well, what I suppose Nightingale would say, well, all right. Um, I'm not going to be there physically. I know that. Um, wait, I'm sorry. I don't even remember. Did you say you were coming, Boxer? No, you said you weren't, right? So
Unless this individual can help with this situation, I have things I need to attend to in case this goes pear-shaped, which I suspect it will.
as they said they could.
I can. If it's worth it. Is it worth it?
I have no clue. What I'm
Well,
planning on doing is getting a reasonable distance away from Fred's and manifesting to speak with them, but not actually going there in person.
that is a prudent solution.
Diendre, so while all of this tense stuff and conversation is going on, 30, 40 miles from you, you're hanging out in Auburn, just sort of spending a relaxed afternoon waiting for the meeting with.
I think about like 2 hours up to the meeting, she goes and she sits on her bike, like not directly across from Fred's, but close enough to see into Fred's, and then just sits there and watches Fred's for like an hour.
Yeah, across from Fred's, there's a new stuffer shack. If you want to hang out there, that's probably a good spot to
Oh my
hang out.
god.
I think she like goes into the stuffer shack and gets a soy calf, and then as soon as she buys it, she takes a sip and immediately spits it out.
Yeah, it's not the best.
What's this trek? She's
So
like,
it was,
like
it's
walked
fresh
up to.
made. We just made it.
Do you expect me to believe that?
The young orc behind the counter sort of shrugs and grins a little bit, like, maybe not.
She's one of those
I'm
customers.
old enough to be your grandmother.
Oh god, she's one of those customers.
Well, what do you want me to do? You want me to make you a new pot?
Yes.
Well, you're gonna have to wait till that one's empty. No, 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 no. Don't. That's all right. That wasn't meant as a dare. I'll do it. I'll do it. Yeah,
The
the young
question
kid comes
is
out from behind the
Grace taking the
enclosure
van?
and
And
goes
if
over and starts
not,
futzing around with the coffee
would
machine and
Cecile stay for longer than 15
soy
minutes?
calf machine. And next thing you know, it's steaming and bubbling and gurgling. And about 5 minutes later, there's a fresh pot of brew there.
I think she like she gets a new cup, obviously, and just like walks out and sits on her bike outside.
Yep. Okay. So Fred's is
It
over.
has an
Fred's
E license
convenience
plate.
store. You know the place. You've been there a couple of times already. It's over there. Nothing unusual is going on. So, guys, the it's getting to
Bad
be
things.
probably around. You've been going back and forth on whether you're going to go or not, and whatever. It's probably about going on 3 p.m., maybe 3:30 at this point. You've got about a 45-minute drive there.
Cecile has her arms crossed and is tapping her foot like, "Are we going?"
Nightingale's going to use Analyze Device on the license plate of the car to figure out how she can forge it to make it look like anything else, to make it look like another valid license plate. She's going to do that for, and then repeat the process for the other license plate on the front, and if there's any other identifying marks.
I'm going to say it doesn't actually have a physical license plate.
How?
Yeah, it's basically an RFID transponder.
Oh, what happens if you don't have that on?
Yeah,
Uh,
potentially. I mean,
Cecile looks at
as long
you
as you don't get stopped by the
with like
cops, you'll be
a
fine, right?
West. Yeah.
oh, oh no.
When the GM says stuff like that, everybody's like,
Sure.
"Oh God."
Oh no, not the cops.
Nightingale comes back in. She just stepped outside to do as I'd said. Was a little disappointed when she realized that this one did not actually have license plates. She thought all cars had license plates, but that must have been like Miss Magnumfoot's old beat up
Yeah, that she never brings into the
2045
city.
car. She's going to say,
Well,
"Hey,
I mean,
hey, Cecile, you're
I'm
good
not a
with Matrix,
mechanic.
the black boxes, right?"
Okay.
You're
I can do
good.
that, yeah.
You're good with the thing with the not magic that's like magic. You're good with
Dude,
that. Okay. I need my van to not be identifiable if we're doing this. Can you make that? Can not identifiable, but can you assign it
I
a
mean, I can look at
valid
the.
identity that won't be associated with
Can't spoof. She does
me?
not have the
That
program.
car, the van as it was driven,
I
you
can
know,
take a
a few
look.
days
I
ago.
can. RFID tags are pretty small.
Break the chain of its
Don't
identity is what I'm
really
saying.
do
You know what I'm
anything
saying.
per se, but like, I don't know.
But
It,
it's
I mean,
electronic.
Cecile does have
do
a
do a
contact
quick
she can
memory
call.
test, Cecile.
He's just not going to do anything for anything less than $500,000.
Yeah, you recall that you just recently actually changed the access ID code of your comlink, and
Look,
potentially
I'm not gonna hang
you could do
around
something
for
similar for this
very
vehicle.
long. I'll go down and take a look.
At the very minimum, you
If you're
could get
not
into
down
it
in
and
like
potentially maybe
10
spoof
minutes, I'm just going to
a
leave.
different ID onto it. Do you guys have any contacts you could call?
I imagine Jake may know something.
Yeah, Jake might know something. He's a sort of a shady dude.
Very shady. Okay. I'm gonna call one of my friends Asterisk. You
Mhm.
yeah. And she Nightingale promptly Grace. Grace promptly disengages from the conversation.
How long until the meeting?
You're about 3 hours away. 3 hours from the time.
I mean, she has a hardware skill, yeah.
She's
My point is just that RFID tags are
Anyway,
pretty
Boxer.
small, although it is a vehicle,
I
so it's
forgot to say it
possible it's
then.
like larger to
But
accommodate.
she'd have texted Vicente the
Mhm.
instructions on what to
Cecile
bring,
can take a look, sure.
which
Okay.
is
So is that a hardware
mostly
test?
kit, a whole bunch of kit, and some personal
Right.
stuff like her VR stuff, some sentimental
It's a
things.
2.
Okay. So Cecile, you go down to the vehicle and you get in and open up the UI and VR for the vehicle, and you start working on it. Do you have a hardware skill?
Cecile sends a text to the horse.
I don't think it's an
saying,
RFID tag. I
"Get
think
down
it's
here,
more
I'm
of
leaving."
a transceiver built into the rest of the computer system of the car. Yeah, let's do a hardware test. I think we can do a hardware test pretty much like you did for the comlink. Perfect. Yeah, you can see. I mean, it really basically is just a comlink in the car. So you go in and you change the access code, and you know you're able to mess with the identity of by changing the access code you mess with the identity of you know who the ownership of the vehicle seems to appear as, and
Nightingale promptly comes out her collar up and her practitioner's cap on her head. Not the most stealthy, but I don't imagine
Boxer, what are you doing? So Cecile left, and then now Grace is leaving. What are you doing?
How long has it been?
It's been about since you had the call with Vicente. It's been about an hour.
All right. So her compatriot, oh God, don't presume that they
The Topps Company, Inc. has sole ownership of the names, logo, artwork, marks, photographs, sounds, audio, video, and/or any proprietary material used in connection with the game Shadowrun. The Topps Company, Inc. has granted permission to the Hard Knocks Sorority Podcast to use such names, logos, artwork, marks, and/or any proprietary materials for promotional and informational purposes on its website, but does not endorse and is not affiliated with the Hard Knocks Sorority Podcast in any official capacity whatsoever.
The music for the Hard Knocks Sorority Podcast was written and performed by Trace Mineral. The Hard Knocks Sorority Podcast is licensed under a Creative Commons License 4.0, meaning you are welcome to use the material as long as you give us credit.